Hello and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I'm your host Dalvinder Kaur from lovely Professional University. We are excited to have you with us and to look forward to an engaging and insightful session. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's topic: cybersecurity careers in the age of operational technology and AI. Before we proceed further, allow me to introduce the experts of the day. Dr. Atul Malhotra, Associate Professor, School of Computer Science and Engineering, Lovely Professional University. With over 12 years of experience in the field, he has trained more than 5,000 plus students in certification courses from Cisco, CompTIA, and eCouncil. So now I would like to introduce Mr. Pradipto Chakrabarti also in this webinar. Welcome, Mr. Pradipto. He is a regional director, South Asia, CompTIA. He has more than 25 plus years of holding business and leadership positions primarily in the technology and training industry. Before we proceed further in today's session, I would like to request everyone for any questions you can write in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and same will be addressed from my side in the end of this webinar. Now I'm going to hand over this session to our experts, Dr. Atul Malhotra and Mr. Pradipto Chakrabarti, and it would be an absolute delight to listen from them. Over to you both.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are addressing a critical challenge, which is basically, a hot selling career in the cybersecurity, securing the operational technologies and integrating AI to identify the threat vectors. And with us, Mr. Pradipta Chakrabarti is going to highlight what are the key things which are going to be the attack vectors and how those can be secured with the help of AI. So, Pradipta sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malhotra and the hosts of today. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for the introduction once again. I would like to start by congratulating all of you for passing a huge milestone in your life, which is the higher secondary exam or the class 12th, ISC, CBSE, and so on. And you're looking at an excellent future. It's a very interesting time that we live in today. With so many new technologies developing very fast, and of course, one of the critical things that we are looking at today is that how these emerging technologies will affect cybersecurity. And as you know, and as the media has also reported again and again, that there is so much of future in this domain, and there is so much of dynamism in this domain that students will always have a bright future. And obviously, how, like what Dr. Malhotra introduces, that how artificial intelligence and how OT, operational technology, or a subset of it, IoT, Internet of Things, and how they are shaping up the technology world. But then obviously there are some, like you said, threat and attack vectors which are always lurking behind us from a consumer standpoint as well as from a business standpoint. So my objective today is to introduce you towards the direction of what are the kind of skills that are required to excel in this field, what LPU and CompTIA is doing jointly to bridge this gap, the available, which is present in the industry, and the kind of careers that are available, the jobs that are available, and some of the case studies that we already have. With that, like I said, I'll cover the trends, I'll cover the opportunities, key skills required, and basically answer the question is that why such an immersive program is needed in today's world. At the end of the day, the most important piece of it is that what is it for you? What will be your learning outcome? In case you choose to join this program in lovely professional university, what will you learn out of it, and how would that impact and affect your career in the future? But before that, wanted to just introduce a few key topics that are ongoing in the industry today. First and foremost, we talk about digital transformation. And today, the world is becoming digital, growingly digital. And if you look at some of these statistics, you will be astonished to see the amount of investment that organizations are doing to transform their business from the legacy way of running their operations to converting that into a whole digital transformation journey using emerging technologies such as Internet of Things, automation, artificial intelligence, obviously some of the upgraded systems that we have been doing for the past 4 or 5 decades, such as networking, communication, computing technology, and so on and so forth. But then the list keeps on going in terms of how do you kind of utilize data to transform your organization digitally. And two of the things that are shaping up hugely is one is artificial intelligence, and I'm sure that you have heard about this. When I open the newspapers or online channels these days, there are hardly any news item which does not or does not say that the effect of AI and what it is doing. But one thing I would like to kind of mention, that as a student, you should not make hurried decision. You should not make judgment based on what you read and what you hear across in the market. There is much to it in terms of a career, in terms of how you can build your career in these areas. And then of course there is operational technology, because what is happening in today's world is that in this process of digital transformation, obviously, there were a lot of services that used computer networking, and communication and data and IT infrastructure, which is the devices and the network platform as such. However, a big thing that is happening is that how does a manufacturing unit, how do they kind of transform digitally? And typically, for example, large manufacturing units like a car manufacturing or digging for petroleum, etc. These are very intensive, workforce intensive areas, and how they are being, connected. And because everything can be connected today by merely putting in a chip and, putting in a sensor, that really changes the whole dimension in terms of how the whole world is getting connected today. So basically, organizations are focusing a lot on digital transformation, which is basically a business process to generate more revenue, to get more new clients, to service the clients better that they have, and so on. And they are using technologies such as artificial intelligence and OT to basically make that. And we are seeing all of this happening in a rapid pace, be it entertainment, where we were used to traditional broadcasting with set-top box and so on, moving on to streaming platforms. In terms of traditional banking, in when you go out, utilize cash, you know, you know. Even my generation has seen that you go to a bank, request them with a check, and you withdraw money. And I think your generation will never do that. It's all electronic banking in today's world. And the third is a more intensive industrial process, for example. And this is just sample examples and use cases of digital transformation that I'm showing here. Is that traditional oil fields, where you explore and you dig for oil, that is moving a large way to completely becoming digital in its nature, with a command and control center where all the data flows in. And that is what is the effect that we are seeing. And if you really go back and define what is this whole process about digital transformation, you will talk about the five key things. One is how to improve user experience. Uh, for example, how do you drive revenue, and how do you improve productivity? And then from there, you want to streamline business processes, and that obviously is to reduce costs and have more competitive advantage. Simplification of IT services, and that is a major one of the areas of digital transformation. Optimization of your IT infrastructure, how much of bandwidth are you using, how are you optimizing the cost, how are you improving the agility, how business works. And finally, the biggest part of it where everything comes together is data. And a lot of people say that data is the new lifeblood of business, and that is why organizations are growingly dependent on data utilization, data analytics, data sciences, and so on and so forth, to build models which take care of the first, second, third, and fourth objective of digital transformation. And obviously, like I said, there is a huge overlap between and that has happened over the last 5 to 10 years, where there's a huge overlap between IT and OT, and that is what you need to understand, because the traditional IT is what you see on the left hand side: your computers, your servers, your mobile devices, the cloud, networking, your personal devices, and that has predominantly become that used to work on one side. And if you look at the operating technology, the operational technologies, which is like industrial control systems, or SCADA, supervisory control and data analysis and data acquisition, system, and all of that were pretty much kind of they were in silos. IT was working separately and OT was in its own way. And now, for example, a very simple example of it is the whole CCTV, cameras, which are all connected now. The manufacturing units automation has come in a big way, and so on. And obviously, you have personalized item like your smartwatches or your Alexa at your home, and so on and so forth. So OT, obviously, when you talk about OT, it is based on IT, and now it is based on IT. And obviously, another terminology that you would be hearing a lot is Internet of Things, or IoT, where basically you are just connecting any device, be it a teacup, which you can control from your mobile in terms of how much of temperature that should be there, or there are many uh, air conditioning systems, or you know uh, I'm talking just purely on the consumer side, is that your refrigerators, etc., which you can control from your mobile devices, and that is basically a mixture of IoT. And when you talk about OT, then obviously it becomes a much more high stakes environment, where you're kind of transforming the whole process of manufacturing, the process of producing goods, and so on and so forth. The second part of this whole thing is artificial intelligence. And within artificial intelligence also, there are a lot of things that you hear very regularly: AI, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI, which is a buzzword today. And when you talk about generative AI, you talk about chat GPT, etc. So one thing that you need to understand, and obviously the half an hour is not enough for us to really go deep dive into all of that. But what you really have to understand, that it all started with artificial intelligence. And I always tell that AI is not something we've termed it AI recently, but even 200 years back, when we use steam, which is an artificial way of kind of moving a train from one location to the other. According to me, I feel that that is also where your it's just a theory and method that helps machine move. Now, when you talk about movement, we have two legs, right? And that is how you move. You run, you move from one place to the other. And here is a train where you are using, or a plane where you're using a fuel, which can be a steam, that moves that item, that object, from one location to the other. And that's where you got them to act as humans, right? And that is where of course, the artificial intelligence in terms of computing has come up very recently, where we are, and when you talk about this definition, very simple definition, that they are methods and theory that help machine thinks and act like human. The artificial intelligence in modern day connotation is basically, when you say machine, it's basically any kind of computing device or a computing machine. And then you go one step ahead, which is machine learning, where you have the ability of computers to learn from data without human programming. And that's where the fun starts, because that is where the other dimension of data comes in picture, where you are training the machine on existing data and then helping the machine to act, the way you want to act it. And then, of course, there is another component called deep learning, where you move from just physical activities to maybe mimicking what happens in your brain using artificial or computer neural networks to perform complex works. And the latest technology that we are talking today is a generative AI, where you're not only making them think and act according to what you want, but what Gen AI is doing is that it can generate content on the basis of a trial or a whole data set which is pre-trained. So I'm sure that many of you have used ChatGPT, where you ask a simple question and the system has got the ability to use the data that has been fed to it to really give you some new dimensions to it, which are not just prescriptive but which are completely new. So again, it requires a lot of more time and bandwidth to basically think and discuss about the whole artificial intelligence area. But what it has done is that, and when you talk about OT, we are basically automating it. When you're talking about AI, we are automating the system. So what does is that there's no doubt that automation is or leading to certain amount of job losses, and that has historically always been the case of any kind of automation drive. Like I gave the example of movement to steam engine, or movement or discovery of electricity, for example, has really changed the whole dimension. But if you look at the graph of unemployment, it has always come down. And that is why the second point becomes important, is that while some of the jobs go off because of automation, there are a certain set of new jobs that have been created. And therefore, there are new skills that are required. We've already talked about gig economy, where all of this digital transformation has led to organizations such as Uber, or Zomato or Swiggy and so on, which is leading into a whole gig economy where you are opening up opportunities for a lot of people, both in terms of working in those systems and also those that are supporting people who are working in that whole ecosystem. And that is why you require a constant process of training, retraining, unlearning, learning, and so on and so forth. So my message is that please do not get bogged down with this whole artificial intelligence and what will do to our job. My message is very clear that on one hand, while it will lead to certain amount of job roles, it will also give you new opportunities and new job roles, and therefore you need to develop. So I'll focus on some of the core skills as we go along, but the hard skills that you need to know or need to kind of be aware of when you are building up your career. But there are 5 very important skills that are required in today's date from a soft skill standpoint, and I also always recommend students to inculcate in your day-to-day life these core skills. One is emotional quotient, which is very, very important today, because even if you are teaching a machine to do something for you, there has to be an element of understanding, for example, what the customer requires, and that requires empathy, and that requires self-awareness or motivation. That requires a lot of self-regulation. So that is one part. Second is communication. How do you communicate with people? That becomes very important. Decision making. Today we say that if you have to lose fast. I mean, how fast can you take decision? Adaptability. How well are you being able? Because, for example, today, after 4 years, you're going to hit the workforce. Nobody knows what will the technological situation or ecosystem be in the next 5 years. And then, of course, like I said, adaptability is again another, and creativity. And how creative are you in terms of providing solution to your end customer? And the other challenge while implementing the entire digital transformation process using operational technologies, AI, IoT, etc., is the fact that cybersecurity becomes the most important aspect, which is like they say, Achilles heels, which means that you cannot live without doing all of this. But while doing this, you open yourself to threat actors and threat vectors And today's date, what is happening is that a lot of hackers, they are using AI-based tools to basically get into organizational system, and a lot of defenders who are sitting behind systems in organizations are using AI to basically, thwart those external factors. So we asked a lot of people, we do regular research, and they felt that, any kind of modern digital transformation processes using emerging technologies will always have a threat of cybersecurity more than, other factors, including workforce and so on. Cybersecurity will be the key threat that will that can halt the process of technological advances. And that is where I need you to understand that when you talk about cybersecurity, it is not hacking, it's actually the other way around. As that typically I put this slide up because what happens is that whenever I go across and talk to a lot of students, they get attracted to this field because of the thrill of, as I say, looking at somebody else without the other person knowing, which is basically hacking. But honestly, cybersecurity is a vast more domain, and that is the reason LPU and CompTIA has come together to create a 4-year honors degree course in cybersecurity. So you have to come out of that mindset that cybersecurity is all about hacking. On the contrary, it is basically a process where you are protecting your electronic assets, understanding and analyzing how malicious actors use these resources to attack and steal information from you, and then how can you basically mitigating. So as a role of a cybersecurity professional, you have to do these stuff. You have to implement proactive security solutions. You have to understand the technology of cloud, uh, security metrics in terms of what is the financial, for example, what is the financial implication of a security threat, etc. And then we always talk about zero trust, which is a new network architecture that we are putting into place, where it goes with the concept that we do not trust anybody with any information. So when you talk about cybersecurity, actually we don't talk about the offensive part of security here at all. When you talk to business leaders, there are four key things that come out to picture. One is, how do you protect your data and information? How do you manage your risk? In terms of how exposed is an organization or organizations to cyber threat. How do you minimize disruption just in case there is a threat that happens? And finally, how do you comply with the government norms across the world while setting up your security architecture internally within the organization? So that, my dear friends, is all about cybersecurity. It is not just about hacking a Facebook page or hacking somebody else's mobile devices. There are tools that can do it very easily, but what if you're looking at a career within cybersecurity, this is what you're going to do. And if you look at the various different types of security, depending on what you're looking at, you are talking about critical infrastructure resources or sectors like health or like energy, or the whole airport systems and the transportation system, telecommunications. Those are the most important thing for a nation, and that is why we call it CII, or critical infrastructure segments, or that's the most important and sits on the top of the pyramid, is the nation's interest. And then you come down to network security, which basically helps and teaches you how to learn to secure your internal network. Endpoint is the devices that you all are using, the mobile devices or the desktop, or the multiple connected devices. Applications which you develop. The cloud, because all data is moving towards cloud today. I already spoke about mobile devices, IoT security, and then finally zero trust. And all of this are something that, as we speak today, are relevant and extremely important for somebody who is interested to build a career in the security field. We asked a lot of CEOs what they feel about cybersecurity, and very clearly, close to 50% of them said that even before other challenges to business such as climate change or wars, which is geopolitical conflict, etc. I think cyber risk is the highest, and the challenge with the industry today is that about 77% of the organizations report cyber gaps. If you look at from an absolute demand standpoint, as on date, last year's report from ISC2 stated that close to about 8 lakh open jobs in cybersecurity in India as we speak today, which means that within an organization, there are job roles which require trained and certified manpower, but there are not many. There's a gap, obviously, and that is why we launched the program. People are hiring. If you look at this statistic, which clearly says, and this is from Microsoft, which says that the way they're going to sort this problem is by hiring cybersecurity people, and the kind of skills that you look at is more in terms of you know you're talking about DevSec engineers, you're talking about IoT security engineers, network security analysts, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to focus a lot on this, but some of the key skills or job roles that you will be exposed to, the shape and the type of the job roles may change when you join the workforce, but basically you're talking about cybersecurity analyst and offensive penetration tester, network security analyst, and so on and so forth. And some of the hard skills that I was talking about earlier is you need to understand the entire operating systems, the way it works, and not only Windows, but also Linux, Android, iOS, and so on and so forth. You need to understand networking and cloud, a bit of automated scripting that we are talking about, because that becomes helpful for somebody who is building a career in cybersecurity. And of course, there are the domain skills of cybersecurity. This particular program that we have developed also has an element of blockchain, which, as you know, is already being implemented in a big way in various segments of the market. And then the question comes is that why is there a need to do a specialized honors course rather than a conventional BTech program? You need to understand that there are two major things that are happening in the industry today. One is the fact that organizations, when they hire manpower, they do not have the bandwidth to, kind of train them for a longer period of time, and they want the person to, kind of start productivity from day one, and that is where we call it as a 0-day deployment. And for doing that, you need to understand that the key gap between the traditional academic curriculum and what the industry requires is around the hands-on area, where rather than understanding or knowing what the concept is, can you use the concept to kind of do a certain task that has been given to you? That becomes a very crucial part, and that is what we are trying to address with the specialized BTech honors in cybersecurity and blockchain, along with Lovely Professional University. And why we have done that is basically because we bring our independent skills, LPU being India's largest and the most respected university, which has got amazing curriculum development team who are working round the clock in terms of building the best curriculum for the students like you. And we from CompTIA, we are the world's largest developer of vendor neutral certification, which brings on the practical hands-on training, brings in the international pedagogy, that we talk about. So the style that is globally accepted is something that we bring in. So what do you learn? What is the outcome that comes out of it is that you become a leader in the field of cybersecurity, which without any doubt is the fastest growing technology career option today, and it will always remain. There is no doubt. The technology might change, but as a guardian of an organization, you will always be in demand. You will learn end-to-end cybersecurity from CompTIA and LPU. We have 40 years of experience in developing these programs, this curriculum, and the certifications. You will gather hands-on and performance-based competence in the domain. You will get opportunity to be employed with leading organizations, and of course, you will get 4 globally recognized certifications from CompTIA. And one of the things that again, another thing that we missed here is that throughout the program, there is a lot of interaction with the industry here. We bring in, we do hackathons, capture the flag, real hands-on thing that will not learn anywhere else. So again, a glimpse of what certification. So as I said, 4 CompTIA certifications, Network Plus, Security Plus, Pen Test Plus, and CYSA Plus, all extremely relevant for your career. Number two is also we work along with another partner, which is a very reputed organization called Quick Heal. And they have a couple of other very specified certifications which also you will get out of it. And in terms of an outcome, obviously blockchain architecture, security operations center, and how do you manage the security operations center, how do you do vulnerability assessment and pen testing, learn about governance, data protection, risk management, the soft side of cybersecurity. You will learn cloud and virtualization. You will master the whole networking and Linux area. And then obviously, when you start in the first, second, third semesters, you will be given a whole foundation of IT infrastructure, the devices and the networking, so on. I have already focused a little bit about the joint program. I'll take another just about 4 to 5 minutes to talk about a little bit about who CompTIA is and why LPU chose CompTIA as their certification partner to launch this. We are, like I said, we are a 40-year-old organization who have experience in developing industry specific, globally recognized certifications. Today, we serve close to about 1 crore learners. Out of that, about 35 lakhs already certified from all these past years. We are world's largest number one vendor neutral IT certification body in the world. We are present across the world, and our certifications are very well accepted by the universe, by the industry. And these are all the certifications that we have. But to be honest, I think when you study in this particular area, you will be involved in getting these certifications, which is rather you will learn about all of these, in terms of the coverage that we have in the curriculum. But from a certification standpoint, you will get these certifications, the Network Plus, Security Plus, CYSA Plus, and Pentest Plus by the time you finish the curriculum. So very well-rounded curriculum. As I already mentioned that earlier, it's very contemporary. And the first thing that we do is take feedback from the industry. We do a lot of industry immersion and mentorship project with programs within this program. Every semester we have somebody from the industry coming in and teaching something new to the learners, something that is even beyond CompTIA. The whole program is hands-on. Like I said, includes global certification. We cover the entire curriculum that is required for a modern day cybersecurity engineer. Obviously, it's interdisciplinary because we are just not teaching cybersecurity, but also all these sub domains. For example, cloud virtualization. For example, I talked about Linux. I talked about networking. These are all, or hardware. These are all something that you need to know to be a well-rounded cybersecurity professional. So we call it an interdisciplinary program. And focuses on interdisciplinary language. And that's what we say. It's a learning 4.0 mapped to the current industry 4.0. In terms of job prospect, like I said, you can search these news items regularly. Huge number of job searches, job openings, and the growth of job searches are increasing tremendously. I think in across the domains of IT, that includes software development, the infrastructure engineering, cloud side, data and data sciences. I think cybersecurity job searches are increasing the most. And the other beautiful thing is that you get to work in a diverse type of organization, which starts from banking and financial organizations like Wells Fargo, big fours like EY, Deloitte, etc., service companies like Accenture and others, product companies like Dell, even consumer product companies like Sony and Nike, who are setting up big security operation centers for their global operations out of India on a GCC, the global learning hub kind of a model where they're setting up these centers here. And this is a snapshot of some of the seniors who are either studying within LPU, this program, who have already got certified. Many of them have got internships, and so on. So I think that shows the kind of focus that we have in certifying people. And also, if somebody wants to go ahead and do their postgrad after completing BTech, once you have these certifications, there are a lot of universities in the US specifically who are who give credit waivers if you are CompTIA certified, and these are some of the examples who are in University of Maryland and so on, which run very specific postgrad courses in cybersecurity. And then with that, I will, I'll stop here. What you see on the screen is my LinkedIn profile. You can go to some of the resources on our website, which talks about the kind of job roles that are available, and describes those job roles. And you can reach out to me at any given point in time. So I'll be happy to help you in terms of shaping up your career in this domain. Thank you so much, and I look forward to any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Atul Malhotra and Mr. Pradipto Chakrabarti. Can we take the questions now, Mr. Pradipto?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So, Jay Anand is with us. Jay Anand, you can ask your queries, your questions directly to our today's expert, Mr. Pradipto. Yes, Jay Anand. Yes, Jay Anand, am I audible to you? Okay. Okay, Sukesh is with us. So Sukesh is asking, what new roles and career opportunities are emerging at the intersection of cybersecurity, operational technology, and AI?
Great question, Sukesh, and obviously I will ask Dr. Atul also for his viewpoint. But what I see in the industry is that one of the areas that are really coming up is DevSecOps, which is basically an intersection of uh, development, which includes artificial intelligence, and then you've got the whole security operations. So that is one. But there are also other areas that are emerging big time, which is basically your there are two areas. One is Sec AI, which is basically more about understanding how artificial intelligence is affecting security and vice versa. So that is one area. And the second one is OT security. So we talk a lot about OT security today, and in fact, it's all merged within. So rather, I'd like to answer the question that. Rather, I would rather answer this question in such a way that it is not about the specific domains, but if you're looking at security engineer, the security engineer job role has changed and is changing, very rapidly over a period of time, and that is what is happening today. So DevSecOps is something that you can research on. OT security is something that you can research on.
And adding to what Mr. Pradipto said, I mean, AI, it has become an integral part of the security operations center. So in today's scenario, if we talk about the security engineers doing their job in the SOCs, sitting there monitoring the networks and the systems and devices, I mean, there is no such tool which is not utilizing AI in these days. A lot of data getting generated by multiple services, multiple devices. All that data, all those logs, they are analyzed by the AI engines which are integrated into the monitoring tools. So, I mean, in today's scenario, differentiating the AI or the role of AI in the cybersecurity, it has become difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is the need of the hour, both for securing the devices and both for supporting the people. I mean, I still remember that even cybersecurity is required to secure the AI. There is an incident which happened recently where the GDoc database got compromised and a lot of data was leaked. Right, the Grok database it got compromised, and I mean this is the AI engine from the XAI, which is a company of Elon Musk. So you guys can search for it. Just go through the case study. So that's why I say that AI is now becoming an integral part, provided you utilize the AI in a positive way and just take the maximum out of it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pradipto and Dr. Atul Malhotra. Jayanand is with us. Jayanand, you can directly ask your question to our experts, Mr. Pradipto and Dr. Atul Malhotra. Yes, Mr. Jay Anand. Okay, Jayanand is asking, ma'am, my general doubt is that is it good to take computer science core branch now and in third year I'll change to cybersecurity or AIML?
I
Okay,
think,
so what happens is,
sorry.
yeah. So what happens is for learning the cybersecurity, I mean, the program which we are discussing right now, that is the best option. Switching into the any other specialization in the third year may not be a possibility because we start providing the students with the specialization courses from the fourth semester onwards. So, I mean, one good option is going with the BTech honors, cybersecurity and blockchain. And if the candidate wants to stay open, then uh, going into the generic BTech and then opting for the engineering minors as an option for the specializations can be there. So in the form of
Also,
engineering minor, student can get the option to opt for, let's say, I mean, a limited set of courses, 5 to 6 courses, focusing upon a specific specialization, maybe AI or machine learning or data science or cyber security.
Thank you so
Also,
much,
sir,
Dr.
I think I'll just add one line to it is that when you are, in today's world, you are kind of, it's a mix of being generic and specified. But then at some point in time, very early into the course, you need to decide which direction you would like to go, because the introductory courses are taught in such a way. For example, there are two ways maybe of teaching operating system, and they're giving a very simple example.
Mhm,
One way is
mhm,
that you're teaching the operating system from a very traditional standpoint. The other way is that what and add a few additional elements of security into it, and that would make a difference in terms of whether you would want to go towards a pure OS side or whether you want to be a security specialist whose role is also to secure the OS. So an
mhm.
early decision would be beneficial for you.
Thank
For
you so
sure.
much, Mr.
And I mean, in today's scenario, things have become very easily accessible. You have a lot of access to the information. You can align the information as per your interest, and accordingly, I mean, you can just get the options to learn the things. So, deciding upon a specific specialization in the initial phase would be a better option for anyone to get skilled enough.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pradiptu Chakrabarti and Dr. Atullah. I hope Jayanand, you got your answer from our today's expert. So Gurpreet Kaur is with us. She is asking what specific cybersecurity skills are needed to protect critical infrastructure powered by operational technology systems.
I'll give you an example to this, and obviously, as an academician, Dr. Malhotra will have a lot of other points, but I'll just give you an example. Is that, or rather, a situational thing is basically if you're looking at, say, for example, hardening your system. Uh, so one part is that if you're looking, for example, at penetration testing, in a traditional operating system or a traditional application side, but you also need to have understanding of how, for example, the industrial control systems work, or how the supervisory control and data acquisition systems work, and how a whole manufacturing area works. So that's just one part uh, of the whole OT that we are talking about there. Like I said, if you talk about critical information infrastructure, it is all the critical infrastructure that is available to us as a service. For example, health service, for example, the telecommunication network, the electricity grid, and so on and so forth. It is not required for you to go into the depth of how a electricity grid works, but an overall knowledge or skill about how, and I'm sure that as science students, you would have a little fundamental knowledge of, how these grids work, for example. And what we teach in the course is that how do you detect the threats in that, and how do you use tools to basically mitigate the threats that are coming out to the airport systems or the transportation system, or for example the metros, or and so on and so forth. So basically, if you talk about specific skills, honestly a little bit of domain helps, but the core skill that you require is the various elements of security that I mentioned, be it a defensive security, which is blue teaming, or the offensive security, which is red teaming, or security engineer, architecture, identity and access management, cryptography, and so on and so forth, which are very core to security functions.
And adding to what Mr. Pradipto said, I mean, when you go for securing the OT devices and systems, getting to understand the core network protocols is very much important, because everything is going to happen over the network. So core network protocols, core network devices, how they work, how they operate, how the information gets exchanged, how the IP addressing and the related technologies work. That is the fundamental part. And along with that, of course, the operating system administration and OS security configurations, they are necessary to understand. Then after that, you move on to the vulnerability identification part, where you should be able to understand that how vulnerabilities operate, what are the different types of vulnerabilities, how the details regarding the vulnerabilities can be identified. And then after that, you should be able to understand that how these vulnerabilities can be patched, fixed, and mitigated. So, if let's say a vulnerability is from the vendor's side, let's say a vulnerability into any firmware, any driver or something. So for that, you are always required to look for the vendor provided patch or any vendor provided update which can help you fix the vulnerabilities. And otherwise, there can be some custom built attacks which are focusing upon the OT systems or SCADA systems. So there, you are always required to analyze the logs. I mean, what kind of requests are entering into the system, what kind of devices are being targeted, what kind of services are being exploited or basically targeted. So based upon that, you can easily identify that how the attacks are happening. So primarily analyzing the logs is an important part here. And for analyzing the logs, like Mr. Pradipto said, red teaming and blue teaming, both of these methods of securing the systems, they include analyzing the logs through the SIEM tools. So any SIEM tool which is adopted by the market prominently, maybe a free tool or maybe a paid tool, is required to be understood by the candidate. Should have a good knowledge on how to analyze the logs using the SIEM tools, and that will work fine. So after the analysis of the logs, you will be able to just reach a conclusion that how the attack could have happened and what kind of vulnerability could have been exploited. And based upon that, the security solution can be applied as per the feasibility. So primarily
If you
networks, operating systems, then analyzing the logs, understanding the protocols which are involved, how they work, the kind of message exchange which happens. So all these things, they sum up and they just work in collaboration to just understand how the systems can be secured. Over to you, Pradipta sir.
and the last piece of the puzzle is the response, which is if
Yeah.
by any chance there is a breach that happens, how do you respond quickly to it so that the risks are mitigated and minimized? So I would recommend you to go for an understanding. So the US has built an amazing format or framework called NIST, the NICE framework. Have a look at it, NICE framework, which talks about the entire skill map, right up to response, and then the data that you learn from that breach, it again goes back to your threat modeling, and then you keep on refreshing that threat modeling. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Atul Malhotra and Mr. Pradipto Chakrabarti. I hope all the participants got their answers from our today's experts. If anyone have any questions regarding the admissions, they just write on our set admissions@lpu.co.in, and you can do WhatsApp chat with us. Our WhatsApp number is 985256900. I'm repeating the number. It's 985256900. And once again, thanks to our today's expert, Dr. Atul and Mr. Pradipto Chakrabarti. As we come to the end of this webinar, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our experts for sharing their valuable insights